Hello everyone, it's TimmyT2009, and I'm finally back with part 2 of the custom model segment of the trucks. If you're wondering why I'm calling this a part 2, well, it's because last time we left off with Shock, and we looked at these 8 trucks. But the last time you saw Shock, I actually made them out of paper. Recently, Calvin Rogers got me a suggestion to 3D print a few truck characters. And I thought I'd take his idea, because it was a pretty good one. There are a few trucks who are 3D printed, as you see here. And there's some new painted trucks that you can actually buy. And I'm about to show you in the video. So, without further ado, let's get started. Let's continue on the line with Shock. So, last time I thought I explained that Shock is a bit clumsy. He was a leader of his own truck gang, and now he is a part of Dred's gang. There are two reasons why he is called Shock. One is that he's called Shock because he gets scared a little easy, and two, he can give up static electricity in his buffers and shock other trucks. So let me explain about Shock here. So Shock still has his old face and the BMQ logo. And he is 3D printed. This was from when I made him out of Legos and paper. I took the chassis off. I asked my dad if he could remove the original Gorilla Glue, and surprisingly, he was able to slice it off. So anyways, not much I can say about Shock is that he's new. Well, upgraded. He's 3D printed. I tried to make the blue slate as best as I could. But do you like my 3D printed Shock? Let me know in the comments below. And I'd like to thank Calvin Rogers once again for asking me to 3D print Shock. Yeah, I'm trying not to recover from allergies. I hope I get better soon. That's why I'm running like this. But I feel okay, really. So I'm going to try to make this video as best as I can. Okay, next I will think we will start with these two right here, since they are the new ones I've made recently. So, these two are a part of Harry's gang. No. Not Harry's gang, but Scaredy's gang. I don't know why I got mixed up there. But they're a part of Scaredy's gang. And their names are Andrew and Ethan. I've had Andrew and Ethan for almost a year now. But what's new about Andrew and Ethan is that I 3D printed them. If you don't know, Andrew was made from a red China clay truck. Ethan was made from the green China clay truck, but the China clay was cut off, and I made some rocks out of air dry clay. But I think these two look a little better. So, Andrew is just a quarry truck with a face. That's all Popular Paxton did to make Andrew. And I think the rocks look pretty good. This almost looks like Andrew. Captures him pretty well. And he's like sort of this bluish gray color. Like turquoise almost. And he still has his old face. So the chassis came from a Thomas Monroe Gina, but I painted the wheels black. I think Andrew looks pretty good as a 3D printed truck. Let me know what you guys think. Now let's move on to Ethan. So, what I did for Ethan was, I did the same thing. I tried to print the rocks as best as I could. Don't know if it looks perfect, but it's pretty close enough. I mean, I did what I could to Ethan here. Now, if you're wondering why Ethan's got a new face, well, his old face got torn up accidentally, but I think this face looks better. He still has the BMQ logo. The stripes are okay. There's nothing written on the bottom. That's because I used a silver Percy, if you can tell by the silver. But I'm thinking of making a Thomas Wood custom silver Percy. I do have a wood golden Thomas, but I do plan to make silver Percy soon. As well as possibly a bronze diesel. sorry. Okay, now let's, look at these two. So, these two are a pair, and they're part of Scaredy's gang now. They are some of Zella's friends, and their names are John and Oliver. Now, we already have a train whose name is Oliver, but the reason why these two are named John and Oliver is because Popular Paxton is trying to reference the actor John Oliver, which is pretty fitting, I guess. I think they look good. Let's start with John before we talk about Oliver. So, I basically made John the same way I made Shock. He has, the only difference is he's a BMQ truck, and he has gray on his coat paint instead of red. And he carries roof tiles instead of slate. He was made from his old model where he was made of Legos and paper. And the chassis is still the same. It's that breakdown train chassis I took off from Chuckler. If you're wondering how did I get Chuckler to stay on his chassis, well, I probably explained this when I first made him, but this is a Thomas Wind Railway flatbed chassis with a toothpick glued in. And it secures Chuckler's head pretty well, and he still spins good. That's pretty good for me, since I took the chassis off. Kelvin Rogers said that he took Horrid Hookie's chassis off, and he used it on Reese, because he's going to get a new Horrid Hookie to replace to replace the one that he used for Reese. So what he's planning to do is, the crane arm wasn't that sturdy, and it wasn't screwed on properly. It kept going down with the weight of the hook. So he's going to get a new Horrid Hookie, like I said, and he's turning the old Horrid Hookie into something else. It's another female breakdown train, but it's a gold and black one. So, I think he should do this idea I have. Take one of these circus train chassis, I guess, and a toothpick, and glue it on. That's just an idea for Cal Rogers. Or he could buy another breakdown train chassis. However way he wants to do it. I don't really mind. Back to John here. So, Calvin Rogers has John, but let me explain how he made it and what happened. So, Calvin Rogers had Shock for a few months, but then he took Shock's paper face off because he's going to get a Shapeways Shock face. But recently, Calvin Rogers explained that he made a noseless truck named Keith, who he's possibly going to name Keith, I don't know. But it's basically this type of truck, but it was separate on eBay. I like to thank him for telling me that, because I honestly thought he'd buy another Demolition Team 2-pack. Then he could have made Bobby. But I hope he does make Bobby soon. I don't know when he will. But anyways, back to John. So, what did Kelvin Rogers use to make John? I might ask. Well, he said he took Shock's model, he painted it into John, and he had a spare Demolition Team face. So he took that face and he put it on here. So now he has John, but Shock's gonna be, like, gone in his collection. And so is Fang and a few other trucks. But it would be nice if Kelvin Rogers makes some episodes where a truck explains that Shock and Fang left the gang, along with a few other trucks. Like how Harry told the other trucks that Carl, Archie, Danny, Danielle, Rico, Riot, Chris, and Tiny left the gang. That's just an idea for me. He could also do a video where an engine explains that Thomas, Roger, Timothy, and 089 left the gang. Like, they left the railway. So, that's John. I'm pretty grateful that Kelvin Rogers made John. I hope he gets another Shock to replace the one he made before. But before I waste any time talking, let's look at his best friend, Oliver. So, Oliver is pretty cool. I mean, this was originally going to be Green Harry, but Popular Packaging canceled that idea, and he decided to make this into a green truck named Oliver. So, Oliver is made from a Thomas Wood Scruffy. Has that exact same face as Harry over there. He's made from Rickety's old model, but I do have a 3D printed Rickety in the process. So, Kelvin Rogers has Oliver, which is kind of cool, but he told me that he took Chris and turned him into Oliver, but he says he's going to get a new Hero Sticky Spill 2-pack. He's going to get another one of those dairy cars from that 2-pack and paint it into Chris, as well as make Harry and Dredd. I'll explain about Harry later for his collection. I am pretty thankful that he has Oliver. I thought he would never get Oliver, but I'm happy that he's got Oliver. So, if he's watching this video, I just want to say thank you so much, Kelvin Rogers, for making John and Oliver. They are two of my favorite characters. There's not much I can say about Oliver here. He's just green with that face. He has black lines too, if you want to know. But that's John and Oliver. I think they're pretty good as characters. We're at 11 minutes, so I think we will end here with this breakdown crane here. If you're wondering, what is this breakdown crane? Well, this is a old-style wooden railway breakdown crane. Probably like Chuckler, only I used the new breakdown crane to make Chuckler. I just painted it to look like this one. But anyways, let me explain about this breakdown train. So, this is another one of Kelvin Rogers' new original characters. Last time, he told me that I beat him to paint Licorice. Like, I basically created him before him. So, he thanks me for making Paint Licorice. You're welcome, Kelvin Rogers. I am happy that I've made Paint Licorice. And thank you for telling me what he looks like. I think this might be another Head Start model, because this is one of his original characters that he hasn't made yet. So, more about this breakdown train. Here's the flatbed. It has nothing written on the bottom. But, this is actually Chuckler's sister. So, I have Chuckler's sister. She finally has a name. And her name is Abby. So, I love the name Abby. And I'm pretty happy that this truck is named Abby. Because Abby is actually one of my cousins. I have two other cousins named Wyatt and Garrett, if you want to know. And my aunt's name is Emily, which is pretty cool. Now, let me talk about the face. If I swing this magnet down. So this truck, Chuckler's sister Abby, she has got Slimy's face, which I think is pretty cute for this breakdown train. And I have to say, she looks pretty good with Chuckler. And I'm happy that Chuckler is back together with his sister Abby. I plan to use her in like a story of Thomas Lay's Equestrian Adventures. But anyways, that's all I can say about Abby. So I hope not Chuckler. I hope that Kelvin Rogers gets one of these old breakdown trains and make it into Abby, his sister. I would love to see him make Abby, because I want him to use her in his videos. I don't know why I'm getting tongue twisted at the moment, but I think I'm okay. Anyways, I'll have to end part 2 here, so stay tuned for part 3 when we look at these other trucks. See you soon.